Hello friends, and welcome back to My Hobby Home. My name is Cathy. Thank you for joining me today. This is our first of several Santa Saturdays. What this is going to be is things that I am making for my home or for gifts, and my kitty cat is loving on me today. He is wanting his pettings today, but these items are items that I will be making either as gifts or for my home. This first one that I am making is for my home. You can probably see my little quilt back here. Well, it's not a little quilt. That is my bed quilt for Christmas. So I have some fabrics here that I will be making pillowcases. I'll be making 2 pillowcases for my bed using these fabrics. I have this fabric. This is a Sweetwater. I think it's Red Barn. Let's see. I think it is. I'm pretty certain it's Red Barn Christmas. It's Red Barn Christmas by Sweetwater. And I'm not exactly sure what the other 2 are. I think they're also part of Red Barn Christmas. Not exactly sure. This one is not Red Barn Christmas. This one is on Dasher, I think. It says Fa La La on it. I can't remember exactly. It's just a Christmas fabric, and I believe it's also by Sweetwater. So the first thing I've done is cut my fabrics. And I have my little pattern right here telling me what I need to do. What I need to do is fold my trim fabric in half lengthwise. So this is, let's see, this is my trim fabric here. So I have to fold it in half, I believe this direction. Fold it lengthwise and press. I am doing 2 pillowcases, but I am only going to do one at a time. So I am going to press this, and I will be right back. If I have anything else that I need to press, I'll go in and do that as well. Okay, so now that I have my trim fabric done, I'm going to take one of each fabric and lay it over here out of the way, because I will not need it right now. But I am making a set of standard pillowcases, and I will have the link for this pattern down in the description. I have made this before, but we're doing all things Christmas right now on Saturdays. Okay, it says first thing to lay cuff fabric with right side up. So we've got cuff fabric right side up, main fabric right side up. Whoop. Here I am turning it right side down. And then it says third, lay the trim on top. And it says match the raw edges and pin. So let me just get these right here in my lap. So friends, have you already started making Christmas items for your home or your friends or family? So we're matching raw edges. Make sure on your trim that you put that raw edge out there. Now I'm pinning here at the end, and then I will line them up going down. First thing I'll do is line my lining on top of my main fabric, and then my main fabric, I'll take those and line it up with my cuff. That's my cuff. The bottom piece is the cuff. And those 2 pieces kind of automatically line up real easy for me. So yes, I am going to pin this because technically it is like 4 layers. You have the trim folded over, and I'm hoping these are all the same. They should all be the same length or width of fabric. But this is a very easy pillowcase to do. This would be great to, you know, just liven up a bedroom. Like, I was thinking I could have a red chenille bed cover. I wouldn't even have to have a quilt. And I could put these pillowcases on it and it would instantly turn it Christmas. I think what I'm going to do is get a throw blanket or like a Afghan, like a red one maybe. I'm going to find, maybe I can find someone that does the jumbo yarn, you know, the wrist and the arm crocheting. My niece knows how to do that. I've never done that, but I do like it. I think it's beautiful, but I do crochet. I can crochet. I won't. But we have all fabrics. I think it had everything right side up. Everything is right side up. Now that we have everything pinned, this next step is going to be the one that I think probably confuses a lot of people. We are to roll the bottom of this up towards the pin. So your main fabric, you just roll. And the reason you're doing this is because you are going to be pulling the cuff fabric over. And you're going to be repinning that. So once I pull this up, right here, see I'm pulling this up even with all the other fabrics. I'm pulling that pin out and just repinning that in. So we are going to do that all the way down the pillowcase. Now, I don't roll mine as tight as they do. I just stuff the fabric down in there. I make sure it's not in my, you know, where I'm going to be sewing. I just make sure to tuck it real good. I'm trying to make sure I keep my cuff fabric straight where it doesn't pull to the side. So here I'm going to just keep rolling this up and making sure I have that edge. And I'm not pulling it. I don't want to stretch it out. I want to just fold it up. Had to take my table off because everything was bumping into it, and it's hard for me to get my fabrics up here all the way down. So now that we have everything rolled up and pinned, we are going to stitch along this pinned edge. So how I do that, now we're going to do this at 1/4 of an inch. I just drop the roll down on this side of the table, and it's hard to let it drop and hang because that's a lot of weight there. But let's see if we can't get this under here and get that 1/4 of an inch. So we're just going to sew this at 1/4 of an inch. It says you can zigzag stitch this, the finished edge. I don't do that because it's going to be inside the pillowcase and no one is going to see it. So I don't do that. Take that pin out. I make sure all the edges are even here. And when you're doing this, even though you've pinned, you will still need to you know, like the top layer, you'll still need to make sure it pulls up and is even with it, because it does try to pull loose because it has that bulk in there rolled up. Now, as I said, this is a quick, easy way to instantly transform a room into a Christmas wonderland, y'all. It is a beautiful way to do it. And you can do this, like if, say you have a red bedspread or bed cover that you use all year round. You can do reds and do a pillow with reds, oranges, and browns for fall. And then reds and yellow buttercups, sunflowers for, spring or summer. There's so many ways you can take one bed cover, and just by changing out your pillows or pillow covers, you can transform that room. I'm making sure everything is even here. This is not even. And a lot of times when you pull this fabric tight, you can tell where it needs to be adjusted. Like right now, I can see that it needs to be adjusted. And I have that one piece, that main fabric that's wanting to punch out through there. And we can't have that. Got to line it all back up. Sometimes you have to play with it to get it where it needs to be. And is mine going to be perfect? Nope, absolutely not. So y'all, hey, this is not about perfection. It's going to be beautiful whether it's perfect or not, because I assure you the imperfections no one will be able to see. And I don't know why that needle just popped back up. And yes, I am leaned over. I've had people say things about that before. It looked like I was leaned over. I sew right in front of my needle, but I have to lean over to see the side of it sometimes. That's just how I sew. I've always sewn like that. Okay, so now we have our cuff is sewn on along with our trim. So guys, really this is a quick sew. So what we're going to do now is pull all the fabric from the inside of our cuff. See, this is our cuff. And this is the pillowcase on the inside of it. We're going to turn this inside out. Which you can just do that by rolling it down like this. I wouldn't say tug on it too hard, but sometimes you may need to do a little tugging on it. But it's not very difficult to get this to start rolling like a tube. See, it's just rolling down like a tube. Now, what I am going to do, I am going to lay it out and press it so then I can trim the sides. Now, I have to make sure this goes to the main fabric. Okay, friends, so now I have the cuff and trim on. Now I use a French seam pillowcase. So what I am going to do, I put my right sides out and fold it in half. I really need to trim this and make sure everything is even here. Let me just hang it up here and see. Being that I'm using a French seam and I'm going to be doing 5/8 of an inch, this all looks good. I'm not going to trim anything. Everything looks good. I just lay it on my machine at 5/8 inch. That is what I'm used to sewing with, is a 5/8 inch, you know, coming from being a garment sewer. That's the seam allowance that I just grew up sewing. So what I'm going to do is sew on the right sides at 5/8 inch. So let's get that done, and we're going to go all the way around. I need to get this laid out where I can hold it real easy. And guys, I do the French seam because it closes up all the raw edges. So you won't see any raw edges on this pillowcase. You won't see any on the inside of the pillowcase at all. I don't know why, but for some reason my fabric here lately has wanted to pull, and I have my dual foot on there. It's almost like I have to guide the fabric because it all wants to go this way, and it could be because my table tilts that way. I need a flat sewing surface is what I need. Okay, for that 5/8, I'm just going to sew off that end and turn, and we're going to sew 5/8 across this. Now, this end is not coming out even, so, but that's okay, because as long as my bottom fabric is at 5/8, that is good enough, because everything will be caught in this seam. I mean, even when we flip this to sew the next, it'll all be caught up in there. That's why pillowcases are very forgiving items to sew, especially if you do the French seam, because I know I don't cut the straightest, and I know I don't. But I can square up on a sewing machine. Now this is trying to pull that direction. I almost feel like I need everything over here and just sewing right here. I feel like this don't need to be hanging down here, because it just pulls is all it does. Now we have this sewn. We're sewn all the way around the pillowcase. Now the next thing I have to do is turn it inside out. Well, actually that first seam should have been 1/8 of an inch. Oops, I did 5/8. I ain't gonna worry about it. So now I have to cover that 5/8 inch seam, which, you know what, let me trim it, because that is going to be a little bit too much. You use a 5/8 inch if you're sewing it right sides together. That's where I got stuck. And I haven't made these for a little while, guys. So let me get my scissors and do some trimming. Okay, now I am trimmed down to the 1/8 inch. So now I can turn it inside out. And guys, I'm not worried about the pillowcase being too small, because it's not. This pillowcase is actually a little longer than a standard, or the standards I get. It's a little bit longer. The main thing is you like it to be thick enough, and I don't mind a pillow stuffed into a pillowcase to make the pillowcase tight, because then that way your pillowcase looks cute. You can see your pillowcase. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and press these like this, because that way it'll make that seam easier to catch. Okay, so now that I have this pressed, I am just going to start on this corner here. Let me get my point out just a little bit. I know a lot of people would be terrified to do this, but I just use my little needle here on my seam ripper. I get that point out there just a little bit better. Now what we're going to do is use a 1/2 inch seam, and what that does, that catches all of that other seam up in there. And that's another reason why you want to press. You want to make sure that's caught up in that seam allowance. I may go, when I get these done, I may go on and put my quilts on my bed, even though it's not even Thanksgiving. Now this one here, I noticed my seam got pressed a little off. So I'm going to pull these two apart and pull the seam how it should be. Okay, and I'm going to just raise my needle and turn that and continue on the other side. So friends, once again, are y'all doing Christmas? Are you already doing Christmas things? I know a lot of people have already done quilts and things of that nature for Christmas. I like to make ornaments, and I like to do decor items for Christmas. I will probably be going and getting some, well, I did the Nantucket bags last year for my girls. And I have another bag pattern that I do want to try out for my girls this year. Because I think those little Nantucket bags, you can wear them out. Literally wear them out. I know I have two that I made, and they're two with blemishes on them that I messed up, and so I didn't give them. I kept those for myself. But my girls, you know, their needs change, and my grandbabies, I'm going to be making them little overnight sleep bags. Not like a sleeping bag, but like a travel sleeping bag, like a little duffel bag. And I'm going to put their name on them. Okay, now right here, guys, is where it gets a little tricky. This is where the cuff is. This is where all that extra fabric is, so we have to be slow and help it through, because mine likes to pucker right there if I don't be careful. But let me know what other things y'all are doing for your Christmas things. Whether it be decor, gifts, bags, just whatever. I mean, anything. Whatever. What do you do for your Christmas pretties? So friends, this is one of two pillowcases that I will be making for my bed. And I loved this fabric so much, but I never could find something that I thought it would do right on, because I don't want it as a border, because as a border, you know, this is not technically directional fabric, but you just want the, I call this the flour sack look. You just kind of want that to look right. And this is the only thing that I really think looks good. You know, this fabric looks really good in. So we got that corner, we got that corner. I'm pressing my corners, friends, pressing my corners, because I do want my little pillowcases to look real cute here. I got a fold line in the fabric back here on the back that kind of makes it look funny. But, friends, this is my pillowcase that I will be putting on my bed. And this is my Christmas pillowcase. So I hope you have enjoyed this. If you are interested in making you some really seasonal or festive pillowcases, I do have the link for this pattern down in the description. Feel free to go grab it and make as many pillowcases as you would like to. I truly appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your busy day to come and check out and see what I'm sewing. So this is our Santa Saturday. I sewed a pillowcase. I will be sewing another pillowcase here pretty soon for my bed. And I know this probably would have looked better in red, but I just liked this fabric with the red and the green here. I thought it was real festive looking, but it's going to work perfect on my Christmas decor bed. So once again, thank you for coming and seeing what I have going on. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not yet. Feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.